That's one small step for man.
Out for the out for the
AJ's Book Corner. I'm reading a book called The Self-Made Widow, a novel by Fabian Nicieza. After mother of five and former FBI profiler Andrea Stern solved a murder and unraveled a decades-old conspiracy in her New Jersey town, both her husband and the West Windsor police hoped that she would set aside crime fighting and go back to carpools, changing diapers, and lunches with her group of mom friends, whom she secretly calls the cellulitis. Even so, Andrea can't help but get involved when the husband of Queen Bee, Molly Good, is found dead. Though all signs point to natural causes, Andrea begins to dig into the case and soon risk more than just the clique's wrath, because what she discovers might hit shockingly close to home. Meanwhile, journalist Kenny Lee is enjoying a rehabilitated image after his success as Andrea's sidekick, but when an anonymous phone call tips him off that Molly Good killed her husband, he's soon drawn back into the thicket of a suburban scandals, uncovering secrets, affairs, and a huge sum of money. Hell-bent on justice and hoping not to kill each other in the process, Andrea and Kenny dust off their suburban sleuthing caps once again. So I guess this is like a, they said that this is the author of Suburban Dicks, and I didn't see that one, so that's why I didn't get that book before this one. But I guess maybe if I like this one enough, I'll go back and read Suburban Dicks, which I think is funny. I think it's really funny that that's the day that they're going by with this, but whatever. All right, let's jump right into today's episode. This episode we're discussing and we're kind of diving into the pressure of like hustle culture and the psychology behind why we're so obsessed with leaving a legacy and a beautiful concept called the quiet ego. So let's start about, the article basically starts about this man named Ed, and Ed likes to throw boomerangs, literally. Now, for most people, throwing a boomerang is just a fun afternoon in an open field, kind of, you like toss a curved piece of wood or plastic, it carves through the air, it comes back to you. But Ed kind of took it a step further. He actually competes globally. He even went to Indonesia for the World Boomerang Championships. At his university, he's helped a lot, starting a boomerang club, and eventually people started calling him the Boomerang Professor. It became his personal brand, whether he intended it to or not. And here's where like the mental health shift happens. Once that playful hobby became tied to his identity and public image, and unwelcome seriousness set in. The pressure to live up to the mark started to weigh on the very thing that used to bring him joy. And, I think some of us have experienced that. Where like, I think I kind of experienced with singing, because like I like to sing. And when like my feeling ever sounded I could sing, I was like every 5 minutes, like, I'll sing this and then sing that and da-da-da-da-da. So why are we so obsessed with legacy? Why can't we just kind of basically enjoy the moment? And some psychologists explain this as using something called the terror management theory, or TMT. The terror management theory suggests that deep down human beings experience a baseline anxiety about the inevitability of our own mortality. We cope with this fear. We create that psychologists call immortality projects. We want to build things that outlast us. We want to be remembered. We want to leave a mark on the world so we can feel like our time here truly mattered. And I think they just talk about modern day culture, how it kind of plays into this. Corporations reframing overwork as building your legacy. Social media convincing us that if an experience isn't recorded or broadcast, it didn't count. And the hustle culture telling us that an unmonetized hour is a wasted hour. We end up on this treadmill trying to outrun our own mortality through productivity. And basically that leads to burnout. And comparison sneaks in. And as everyone knows, comparison is the thief of joy. So we stop asking, does this bring me peace? We start asking instead, how does this look to everyone else? Basically how we're being perceived. So then enters the quiet ego. So this is kind of the antidote to burnout. Heidi Wayment, a psychologist, and Jack Bauer as well, proposed a wonderful concept called the quiet ego. The loud ego focuses on status, clout, metrics, and legacy. The quiet one focuses on intrinsic meaning, presence, and authentic self-worth. Having a quiet ego doesn't mean you lack self-esteem or that you shouldn't care about your work. It simply means that you step off the treadmill of constant self-promotion. Research shows that people who cultivate a quiet ego enjoy higher psychological resilience, deeper, more authentic self-compassion, and greater daily satisfaction. They don't do things for the likes or the status. They do things simply because the experience itself is intrinsically meaningful and enriching. So just give like 4 ways on how to practice practical forgettability. Treat yourself as a craft, not your entire identity. Lowering your essential stakes of your career. You can do excellent, painstaking, proud work today without demanding that your job title serves as the opening line of your biography. Number 2, embrace anonymous impact. Try doing good quietly. Help a coworker fix a broken process or donate to a cause without posting about it or needing your name on a plaque. The value of good work remains even if no one knows you did it. Number 3, reclaim the freedom to fail. When you aren't trying to build a permanent monument to yourself, a mistake is no longer an essential threat. It's just a data point, and failure becomes much less scary when your identity isn't riding on your every outcome. And number 4, cultivate quiet hobbies. Keep at least one passion entirely unmonetized, unrecorded, and offline. Create your own private boomerang field that exists for your eyes only. So when we think about physics, when we think about boomerang, it depends on the release. If you hold on too tight, basically the boomerang doesn't do what it's supposed to and come back to you. It just ends up on the ground. So maybe life is similar in that way. Like if you just simply do what you love for the sake of doing it, for what you love, because it brings you joy, maybe that's what it's worth and what we should be striving for. Anyway, let's move on to what I'm happy and grateful for. I'm happy and grateful for kids going back to school. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And I will be glad when it finally happens. The quote, ask for more, the universe isn't on a budget. I think this quote, again, speaks for itself. Just ask for what you want, put it out there, and start trying to do it. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to be successful at it. You just have to try. Like, please just try. I swear. Like, the things that I've learned to just, like, in trying have been so much more enriching to me than not trying at all and worrying about and feeling bad that I didn't even try. But before I go, be sure to check out the show notes. Also, check out my books on Amazon titled Poems to Cry To in the Dark and Love Letters Never Sent to Myself. Leave a 5-star rating. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'm glad you're still here, and I hope you have the day you deserve. Bye!
One, giant leap